Hello friends, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the Hollylolly channel. You know, almost every issue I tell you a lot of things about Japan. Today I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, and of course about Japan too. Basically, to tell you why I decided to record a music video, which I hope you have already appreciated. And I also want to tell you a little bit about modeling in Japan and how I almost ruined my daughter's modeling career. So listen, don't miss it and you'll learn a lot of interesting things. Like most little girls, I dreamed from early childhood to become a singer, sang in the school choir, then took vocal lessons, was a subscriber at that time of my future husband. He had a fairly popular channel, so we met, and after 7 dates I married him. Well, that's a story for another video. Then at a more conscious, but still young age, I decided to try myself. I went to a TV presenting course, and then I decided to try acting. And there, I remember my final exam. At that time I was taught by the great director Zasiv Rudenko, and I heard from him that either I would reveal myself as an actress, or I would simply fail, because I am by nature a very soft, kind person, and I don't know how to be sarcastic, swear and show myself from the negative side. He gave me the role of Mona from The Nameless Star, where the heroine must have such a direct bossy character, with a note of bitchiness. And for me it was a shock and a challenge. I'm not like that. It was very difficult for me to show the whole palette of emotions that was needed, and all the rehearsals I had failed. I was scolded, I cried, I thought that it's not my thing, I won't do it again. And you know, I told myself the night before the exam that I would do it, because there was no other way. Why did I start doing all this stuff? When you forget for a split second and put on a mask of another person, at that moment you can do anything you want, because it's a stage, it's not life, and then you reincarnate, and you can be someone you're not. And that's cool. Just because of the emotions that I felt at that moment, I felt high and I opened up. At that point, the director said it was cool, it was great, that I was good and I did it. At that moment I decided that acting is not so bad, and since then I started dreaming that some other role will wait for me. And you know, I'm a screenwriter by main specialty. I write scripts and that's what brings me income. But apart from that I always leave a little space in my life for creative development. I think that if you will be, for example, 100% only a mom or 100% only a wife, you do not leave yourself the opportunity to reveal your inner talents, your potential. Or, for example, you have a hobby, and you do not leave an opportunity for it. I had a period when I, except for children in general, did not see anything, and when I came to the realization that I just accept diapers, bottles, just cannot talk about anything else, I decided that it's time to change something. I came to the conclusion that both men and women should always leave a small percentage of life for self-development. A place for hobbies, for something that brings you really some high emotions, that can fill you from the inside. Because a person who is empty inside, unemotional, who only gives energy and receives nothing, he can't give anything good. Each of us needs to find what really fills us, to shine with kindness, warmth, and fill people around you. In my country, before I moved to Japan, I tried my hand at a lot of things besides my main domestic work and my profession. I was trying to find something in myself that would fill me from the inside. And then it was a small part of it, but just acting distracted me. I was always finding myself some kind of shoots and participating in them. I always had some movie roles where I'd say a sentence or two. For me, it was a crucial point that I didn't participate in extras. It's not a bad thing, but I have a different goal here. It's about creativity, and that's what I don't do. Of course, when I moved to Japan, I also wanted to realize myself here, and I can't do it here. Why? Because, again, the language. If you go to Japan not as a tourist, then of course knowing the language is like a breath of air. It's something that's sorely lacking. In my native country, I was free to do what I wanted, to go wherever I wanted. I could solve everything with the help of language, because you communicate with a person, you decide, you understand. But here it's just a vicious circle, because wherever you go, you need a language. It's mega inconvenient through an interpreter. Not everybody wants to communicate with you through an interpreter. My kids have also had acting experience since they were kids. I used to take them on shoots. Anna especially liked it a lot. She got her first roles when she was 1 year and 6 months old. She started filming. She liked it very much. She asked me when we would go, when there would be more filming. In Japan, in fact, it is possible for children to try themselves in acting. If in our native country we had the opportunity to go and specifically try ourselves in some place, in Japan everything happens exclusively through modeling agencies. For me, you know, it was a bit of such a shock, because I'm not a model and I've never tried to be one. I don't have the right parameters, I'm not the right height, I'm far from being a model. And here they said that acting is also through modeling agencies. You have to go to an agency here, register, take photos, write everything about yourself. And, of course, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So now I'm going to tell you very general phrases, very accessible information, because you can't disclose any details at all. And although I've already signed contracts with different agencies for a year and a half, I have not been filmed anywhere, nowhere at all. It's very frustrating, of course. That's why I decided that I have to realize myself somehow. Time is running out. Every year you don't get younger, but you want to try something. In order to realize myself in some way, I decided to start a blog and record videos for you. You know, now I will tell you some general information. If, for example, you come to Japan and you want to apply to a modeling agency, what do you expect? I won't tell you about modeling, but I think it's the same as acting, because you have to plan everything in advance. For example, in September the invitations for spring will come, so they write 3 or 4 months in advance at least. The customer writes the dates, what kind of shooting is planned, and whether he can count on you. If you agree, the date is booked for you, and you are obliged to plan nothing for that day. You spend 6 months waiting for a certain date to be called for a shoot, but from my experience, probably not. They won't. You get a lot of offers and vacancies every day, and you can write in your diary a year in advance with dates. And you can't go anywhere, not even to the dentist, polyclinics for those dates. And you sit waiting for 3 to 4 months until you get a positive or negative answer. I honestly don't understand why you have to wait so long. Most of the time they write back a day or 2 before the shoot with a rejection. They write that you are not suitable for them. Thank you for waiting, for holding this date for them. You can now release it. And I've also met people here who are sometimes invited to be extras or for more episodic roles. But they know Japanese. That's a big priority. I don't know Japanese, and I've spent a lot of time here. I was sent many times that I was a priority candidate. There, the customer chose me, he liked me, and could I send a skit? I learned everything. I sat with a translator to understand what it was all about, to play it cool. And then, like a parrot, I played back what the translator told me. I listened to the voiceover and learned the text. It took me about half a day to get all this ready, to record myself and send them the video. Then there was a period of time, I waited, and then they said they had chosen someone else. It was the same with my sister, my son. We all got rejections, and for a year and a half nothing worked out for anyone. But they called us separately and invited us to be a part of an extra, where we would not be shown at all. They said that most likely you will not appear, they need a mass picture. And honestly, I feel very sorry for my time, because it's very little. To play just in a crowd, it will not bring me any additional experience. Therefore, I did not participate in such masses, but my daughter went differently, which I am madly glad. Even at the end of the contract, I cannot say in which companies and what she did, but in general she had a lot of shoots here as a little actress. It's different commercials, clothing stores. It's been really cool. I'm going to tell you now what went wrong and how I guess you could say, put her career to death. In Japan, I realized one thing, that here it is not accepted to refuse in any way, to say no, and all that is connected with it. And we had an unfortunate situation. They send you an invitation, whether you want to participate or not, but the description is minimal. 1 or 2 sentences, and that's it. And actually, I remember when I first applied, I was approved for some role, but they didn't tell me which one. And of course I couldn't communicate in Japanese, so I asked for a translator. She called and said, I'm in, just tell me the details. Because I had to show up at 5 o'clock in the morning somewhere far away, and I asked her to at least tell me what kind of filming it was. I laugh and say I don't know, because I can't agree if I don't even know any details. You agreed 3 months ago just for some brand to take part, but you don't know any details. You say you agree, but you're not given any details. Maybe it even requires skydiving. As a result, I was told that I would come in tomorrow for the shoot and they would approve me. I agreed, but asked for at least minimal details. Maybe I need my hair twisted or straightened backwards, or some clothes, because sometimes they ask me to bring some costumes. I need to understand what I need to buy there, what I need to do. And they were very confused by that question. They said we'll talk to the customer and we'll call you back. And about half an hour later, my translators called and said that I had been rejected for the shoot. I immediately thought, here's what I could have said wrong. I simply said that I agreed, but I asked for details, what I would have to do, how I would have to prepare for it, and then followed that up with a rejection. With my daughter, a slightly different situation happened. We had been called before and knew she had experience. She was called to participate in a winter shoot in the ocean. They had to dive and present their costume. And the first thing I thought was, well, that's cold. It's a little kid, 5 years old. They had to shoot a summer collection. It was 5 degrees outside, and it was one of the coldest days, and it was February. The child had to spend half a day in a t-shirt, in a dress to imitate that he was warm and cool, and then shoot the whole collection on the street. You know, I said as correctly as possible, as tactfully as possible, that it is such a cool collection, everything is super, but she only after the illness, after bronchitis, she was still coughing. First of all, I'm a mom, I take care of the child, and I said that no one warned us that the shooting would be on the street. I really refused from all street shoots, and here I agreed only because it was written that the shooting in the studio. I apologized and asked if I could at least wear a jacket in between. I realized that if I now say that I will not give them a child for filming, then we will disrupt the shooting, and I did not want to conflict. So we filmed her. Well, we took off her jacket, put it on, took it off, put it on. Anyway, she got sick after that. And after that, the agency did not want to cooperate with us only because I was not warned in advance that a child practically naked should be kept outside. I was not indignant, I asked very strongly, as we were not warned, let's at least somehow with a jacket. As a result, we did not have a single order after that. Directly no one will say that you somehow behaved wrong. Before that, we were called every week to shoots, and we went, participated, and after all this, we haven't had any offers for more than 6 months. It turns out that we had to say nothing, agree to everything in order to continue these shoots that we had before. You know, and now I wanted to come back to what I said earlier. When I was a child, I had a dream singing and everything connected with it. And the dream lasted for a long time. I wanted to record a music video, first of all for myself, and secondly, for memory. It was a dream I was afraid to say out loud. I thought someone would laugh, someone would say something wrong, and then I thought, why should I put it off? We put it off. We say that now is not the best time to do this. In a year or two there will come a good time when it will be possible to do this. And you put it off, a year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe even 10. Time's running out. And I thought, there will never be a better time than now. We have to do it now. I've been writing screenplays for years, but I've never written anything like this. The music video I didn't come up with, and this is all new to me. I had to do more than one sheet just to throw out, change everything. The problem started around the time I ordered the costumes. It seemed to me, as not in Japan, you can buy bright, awesome costumes. At first, I tried to find them in person. Just go and try them on. For example, the Harajuku district is a youth district where different subcultures gather, and there are very non-standard, unconventional clothes there. But still, even she seemed a little pale to me. There are a lot of maid dresses, a lot of 18+ costumes. I found absolutely everything, but just not anything that would suit me for the shoot. I realized that I needed a character that was so vivid and that the viewer would remember. After I couldn't find anything in person, I started looking online. Amazon helped me out. I found things on Amazon, but not without nuances. You start putting things on and something small, something big. And then I was really nervous because I had already arranged the shoot, we had already planned everything, and then there's a delay on the suit, it's not coming. Then I tried on another suit, and I just drowned in it. It's really big, even though it's supposed to fit. That's why we were trying to change characters on the fly. But that's okay. What was the actual filming like? Very stressful. Why? Because first of all we decided to shoot without children. I realized that with children it would be very difficult. After all, it's flying, they are in attention literally the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then everything, they lose interest, they need to run, jump. And here these costumes, wigs all interfere, so the first day we decided to shoot without children, only with Alina. And of course, we are already foreigners in Japan, which attracts a lot of attention, and if we are wearing these costumes, wigs, heels and going to a popular tourist spot, we feel like in a zoo. Well, in short, I was very uncomfortable because we attracted a lot of attention. First of all, we went to Tokyo Tower, and here it started. We had found a place in advance that was supposed to fit our idea perfectly, and there was a huge crowd of tourists there. There were probably 50 people standing in line just to take pictures, and we had a dance to do, and I realized it wasn't a 5-minute thing. We filmed our 3 dances for 4 hours, because somewhere there was a discrepancy, somewhere someone got into the frame, a lot of nuances, and we realized that we could not shoot here. We started walking around in these dresses with bags, because there was a lot of stuff to carry. We walked around, found a place and decided that we probably couldn't find a better one. We took over the area, started dancing. And, you know, it was the easiest filming, because, in general, many Japanese people see that something is being filmed here, they went the other way. They went around and were as polite as possible, which is not the case with the next shoot in Shinjuku. It was a nightmare. We went to the Kabukicho neighborhood because it has crazy beautiful signs, brightly colored houses, everything is mega cool. But there are big, huge crowds of tourists that just blow you away. We're with kids, in heels. We had very bouffant short dresses, and we were already there on the move put on these petticoats. I had a mega short dress. I bought very short shorts because I realized that everything would not be smooth there. And it was here on Shinjuku that we really felt the difference between the difference when you shoot among Japanese people who are just afraid to approach you and the difference between tourists. While we were in the process of putting on a wig, some other accessories, tourists just come up and brazenly start taking pictures from all angles. Someone asked if they could take a picture with us, but it was probably every 5 minutes. We were shooting there for about 6 hours, and half of the time we were being yanked to take pictures. There was a not very pleasant moment, because Alina and I have short skirts. An Asian man came up, walked around us, took a lot of pictures, I understand, with a bias to take pictures under our skirts, and left. Yes, we were in shorts there under the bottom, but still as unpleasant as possible. Then already closer to the night began to come up Japanese people after bars, and they began to give money to Sasha and ask for a photo. I didn't watch the anime where Sasha was the hero. Maybe the point there is that somehow the hero was extorting money, but for some reason it was Sasha who was being offered money by everyone who came over. I told Sasha to let him take the picture, and of course he didn't take the money. In general, everything was stressful, far from what we had planned. When you sit at home in a calm environment, you plan for yourself that here I will do this, here I will do that. And when you are there in that moment, everything becomes more complicated. For example, we made a perfect movement, but a man passed by with a light on his bike, and the camera just shone on us. And every time we have to do a lot of takes because of moments like that. And in Shinjuku it was the most difficult moments, and morally I just closed myself off, because it was as uncomfortable as possible. Near Tokyo Tower, it was much easier because there weren't many passers-by. They're polite, you're polite, do your dance and leave. And at Shinjuku, it was as tense as possible. I also wanted to tell you about the last day of filming. It took place on Odaiba, an artificial island made of garbage. It's probably my favorite place in Tokyo, because there you feel so secluded with nature, the sea, and I love the sea. There's an islet and we really wanted to shoot there. What were the difficulties we faced? Of course, again, expectations and reality are very different. I really wanted to show the variety of Japanese food, and we didn't quite manage to shoot it in time. You arrive with suitcases, you're already in costume, and when you got to this island, you started to lay out the food. What difficulties did we encounter? The food tends to get weathered quickly and become not quite attractive for the clip. The second factor is the wind, crazy wind. Wigs fly off, dresses bounce, food tries to fly just in different directions. And, of course, we should not forget that shooting with children and shooting without children are radically different shoots. So, while we're practicing the dance, what are the kids doing? Sasha's climbing a tree, Anya's hiding. We planned to shoot and finish everything relatively quickly, but everything went, as always, not according to plan. Even with the food we dragged on for a long time, and then came the dance. The dance is, of course, the most interesting and the saddest part. Why? Our Japanese apartments are very small, and it turns out that at home we practiced one at a time, because the four of us just didn't have enough room to dance properly. With the help of our good friend we rented such a small dance hall, and we had only 1 hour for all the dances. We only had time to rehearse 2 out of 4 dances in an hour. And you know, when you seem to have learned a move, your colleagues have learned it too, but when you start dancing together, everything is out of sync. The clip didn't turn out perfect, but it was important for me to try to do it for myself. It's clear that when you shoot a professional video, there are a lot of participants in the process. You have makeup, costume designers, and professional cameramen, but we did everything ourselves. Yes, it turned out far from what we wanted, but it's just something from the heart, a memory of Japan, a memory of Tokyo, because I don't know how long we will live in this country. Naturally, as long as we live in Japan, I will make you fall in love with Japan. I will tell you everything really as it is. But I'm not sure that I will live in Japan for a very long time, so I wanted to support that love for anime, for Japan, in such a light, kind, cheerful song. Next, what were the challenges? The sun started to set very quickly. If anyone knows, in Japan in winter, it starts to get dark very quickly at 4 to 5 p.m. The first year I lived in Japan, it was a shock to me. In the summer, it must be around 7 p.m. when the sun starts to set. Then at about 6:30 the sun was setting, and we realized that we had just had time to shoot the food part, and just started our first dances, and that's it, the sun was setting. And we have a plane tomorrow, that is, it was the last day, everything was tight. It was also raining, we could not choose a sunny day, and plus I got Anya sick with a fever. But the kids asked me very much to participate in filming with me. I didn't mind. So, of course, with the children, it turned out to be a different shoot. When the sun went down, we had to quickly change clothes and take off these neon sticks. Again, everyone was already a little tired, and everything was out of sync. We probably shot for an hour and a half just with neon sticks. And then we had to move from one location to another, about 25-30 minutes. There was just a giant huge robot in there. And when we got there, there was some kind of show going on. We didn't expect there to be a show, so we even filmed a little bit of it. And then we had to shoot a shot of Sasha smashing the ground with his fist. And, of course, we again faced the problem that there were a lot of people taking pictures of everything, and again there was a cue to shoot so that a lot of people would not be in the frame. There are lighted steps near this robot here. They work until 10 p.m. We also recognized it, but because of these delays we didn't have time. We started dancing at 9:30 p.m. And there is also such a moment, that is, they do not always shine with such a beautiful rainbow color. They are white or something else, but, of course, the most beautiful are the rainbow ones. You're standing there, waiting, nervous. When the rainbow steps you start to shoot, and here someone comes down in the frame, and you have to wait again. At about 9:40, they finally start shooting, there's no one on the horizon, and we're just starting to dance, and they knock out these steps. I don't know, maybe somebody didn't like us dancing on the steps and filming, so they turned them off. And again things went wrong for us. The steps got turned off, and all the lights around us got turned off too. I don't know if it was either a coincidence or if someone really didn't like us filming there. But we were left without lights. What to do? We went again with these suitcases to look for a place to rent. There's a Statue of Liberty on a daba. We decided to shoot near it, because there was some light there. We decided not to bother the children, although they also wanted to dance, but they were tired. We sat them down, gave them tablets, and they sat waiting for us. And, of course, a lot of Japanese people came by and took pictures of us again. They took pictures of us. They took pictures of the children who were sitting in these costumes, playing with tablets. They were surprised, wanted to ask something. There were some foreigners who saw what we were filming, but they deliberately stood behind us and made some faces. At about 11, maybe 12:30, we finished filming. A lot of things didn't go as planned, but at least we got it done. I won't say that it turned out wow. Of course, we had to think about a lot of things. For example, we had to find some specialists, but we can say that this video was made for ourselves, as a souvenir. Thank you very much for watching, write your comments, and see you in new videos. Bye!